Today we're at Baker School, and what we did today is we had a town hall format with students in the leadership classes. And the purpose was to get the students' voice and how they've handled pandemic this year, the things that have affected them. And what we wanted to let them do is to ask questions of the superintendent and of me as their school board member to see what was kind of on their minds and what things are affecting them. And then we turned the tables and actually asked them some questions. And it was really a great exchange of ideas. I was very impressed with how articulate these students are, and they obviously spent a lot of time on their questions and were very heartfelt. So I think it went very well, and I was so glad that we had an opportunity to have that student voice.
I think that a lot of the positive things is just hearing the student feedback, because I think a lot of the times our parents and adults are kind of the ones speaking up in board meetings and just talking with the board members. And while I think that's great, and I'm thankful for our parents and adults advocating for us, I think that this is really beneficial that they wanted to hear our perspective, like that, since we are really going through right now and the ones being affected. So I'm very thankful that they gave us this opportunity to come today and speak to them and give our opinion and hear us out. So I'm hoping that they'll take our opinions and will influence future decisions for the better.
So our leadership class, we had 3 class periods where we got to just discuss about certain issues in our school and talk through them, and whatever we were passionate about, the students had the opportunity to ask those questions to the school board. We really just discussed all of the unknowns of COVID. So we talked about prom and graduations, and then if any restrictions will be lifted in the future. We talked about a lot of future plans and stuff in the future, and then we also focused on the present stuff. So we talked about how the classes and our block scheduling are affecting us right now. We talked about a lot of things with our education system and how it's affecting our academics and our grades, if it was a good idea or if it wasn't. We just basically talked about how we felt kind of, and our opinions about it.
I definitely think that they're going to do their best to do what they can, and hopefully we'll be able to have somewhat normal of the events. And I'm thankful for what we've had this past year, and sporting events and different things that we're allowed to have. And I know that some things have been taken away, but we're trying to look on the positive side. So I'm hoping that they're going to do their best to be able to have these things and we can finish senior year strong.
You know, we do a good job in the school district in terms of speaking with teachers and staff and, how are things going, speaking with parents, how are things going, but we don't necessarily always take the time to listen to our students and hear their voice in a format like this. So I thought the way that the Baker students prepared for today, the intelligent questions that they asked and some deep questions, I thought they did an outstanding job. And some of the takeaways for me were many that, some of these students have struggled this year, and we know that, but they talked about persevering. They talked about still successes that they had this year, and that made me feel good to see that we have students who, are resilient here at Baker and across our school district. But I think what touched me most was listening to the students who spoke about the teachers or the employees here at Baker that made a difference in their life. And the one student who talked about going to a guidance counselor when she never would have before, and the difference that guidance counselor made in her life this year was touching. But more importantly, it shows the emphasis that we have on guidance counselors and mental health counselors, and we must continue to do that.